Well, hello everyone, my name is Zwiggojr and welcome back to another video. I didn't upload last week because I was on vacation, but now I'm back baby, back with another hardcore Nuzlocke in Pokemon Emerald, and this time we're going to be using one of the worst typings in the game, the bug typing. That doesn't mean that the bug type doesn't have any good Pokemon though. We have Pokemon like Ninjask, Shedinja, Pinsir and Heracross, which are all going to put in a lot of work, and they surprisingly also have pretty decent move pools. But the bug type is weak to a lot of gym battles. These include Roxanne, Flannery, Winona, and they're also not going to be very good against Tate and Liza's Claydol and Solrock. And the bug typing only has one good stab move in this entire game, and that will be megahorn on Heracross. Before we get into the video, let me know what your favorite bug type Pokemon is. I would say that mine is definitely Heracross. It just looks very cool, and I think its Mega is also looking very tasty. For the people that don't know what a hardcore Nuzlocke is, here are the rules. I cannot use any items in battle. I can capture one of each bug type Pokemon, except for Wurmple, because Wurmple will be able to evolve into Cascoon and then into Dustox, so I'll be getting a Beautifly and a Dustox. Once a Pokemon faints, it's considered dead, so I can't use it anymore. There are also going to be level caps throughout the game, those being the highest level Pokemon of the next gym leader. And yes, you can indeed exceed the level cap once you enter the gym battle. And you're also required to play on set mode. That's everything that had to be said. Let's jump right into Pokemon Emerald with a bug hardcore Nuzlocke. At first, I go ahead and save the professor from this zwiggojr, and I decide to not replace my starter and just go with Mudkip so that I would have a good HM Pokemon for later on. Because as you may know, you cannot complete this challenge without a water type on your team, because you need Surf, Dive, and Waterfall, and bug type Pokemon can't learn those. I then went ahead and captured one Wurmple, named him Unite, because I am 100% addicted to the new Pokemon game, Pokemon Unite. Let me know in the comments down below if you have played it, if you're enjoying it, who you're playing as, if you're just looking forward to the mobile version. I want to know it all because I absolutely love Pokemon Unite. I then capture another Wurmple and name it Barry. And so Unite evolves into Silcoon and Barry evolves into Cascoon. So then I went looking for a Surskit, which would be an amazing team member for the upcoming gym. Sadly enough, you have to mix your records with Ruby and Sapphire in Pokemon Emerald so that you can get Surskit, which is something I can't do because I'm on a laptop. So no Surskit for us. I then help Wally capturing a Ralts, beat up a thug in the woods to save this business guy. Then before we took on the next gym, my Silcoon evolved into a Beautifly and my Cascoon evolved into a Dustox. I also add one more member to the team, that being Nincada, which will definitely come in handy in this entire run because Ninjask is kinda broken. I then named it Banshee before I knew what it meant, and apparently it's a woman's spirit that warns people from a death in the house. I don't know. Anyway, we then jump right into the gym battle with Roxanne after grinding my entire team up to level 15. And we're easily able to take down her first two Pokemon, Geodude and Geodude, with my Beautifly's Absorbs. The last Pokemon will be Nosepass, so I decide to switch into Banshee because I need to set up 6 sand attacks on this thing. After doing so, I occasionally get hit by Rock Tombs and Tackles, but I still have Leech Life in my arsenal so I can get some HP back. Eventually, I also run out of Leech Lives and take down Nosepass with a couple of Fury Swipes. The cheapest tactic in Pokemon is just throwing sand in someone's eyes, but it always works like a charm. After getting our gym badge and wasting the mayor's time by calling him, try to leave Rustboro City, but we get stopped by our rival May. She now has a Wingull and a Trico. I decide to lead with Nincada, which was very stupid because she leads with a Wingull and I still attack it twice with Fury Swipes before switching into Dustox and taking it down with Confusion. And the next Pokemon, Trico, just goes down to 2 more Gusts. With May out of the way, we travel through the 7 seas with Mr. Briny, deliver a letter to Steven, and challenge the second gym leader Brawley to a battle. He has bug type, so this battle really wasn't a problem, since my Beautifly could just take down Machop with 2 Gusts, and then I learned Morning Sun, which is decent for recovery. The next Pokemon, Meditite, got destroyed by a single gust. And the last Pokemon was Makuhita, who just wasted its turns for going for bulk up, so 3 gusts also take that thing down. I then once again beat up some thugs, this time in a museum, and apparently were so scary that we even scare off their boss. Next thing on the list was evolving Nincada into Ninjask, so I went into the grass, killed a couple of Electrikes, and my Nincada finally evolved into Ninjask, but this doesn't only give us Ninjask, it also gives us Shedinja. A very overpowered Pokemon if you use it right, because there are a lot of Pokemon in this game that actually can't hit it. After these evolutions, we had another rival battle. She leads with a Wingull, so my Beautifly takes that thing down with some gusts. The next Pokemon, Slugma, went for a rock throw on my Beautifly, 4 times super effective, but even though Beautifly is pretty frail, it still managed to survive with about half of its HP. I then swapped in Dustox, gusted and confused the Slugma a couple of times to take it down. The last Pokemon would be Grovyle, and 2 more gusts and we've already won this battle as well. Now normally we would just take on Watson now, but we have 2 more encounters to get. The first one being Illumise, which I named Madame, and the second one being Volbeat, whose name will be Ivy. After getting these 2, I did some EV training on my Pokemon, leveled them up to the appropriate levels, and took on Watson. My plan going into this gym was just going with Shedinja, but there are 2 Pokemon that can actually do something against me, the first one being Voltorb with Rollout, so I have to take this thing down with Dustox. After going for some Psybeams and a Moonlight, it eventually just goes for the self-destruct, and that leaves me with 8 HP. He then brings in Electrike and I swap in Shedinja. I set up a Screech, then set up 6 double teams because those double teams are very important for the next Pokemon, Magneton, who has Supersonic, and I needed to miss Supersonic every single time because it's faster than me since I'm paralyzed, and if I get hit with Supersonic, I might have a chance to die here. Luckily, it didn't hit me a single time, and I just kept on screeching and scratching away at this thing until it died. The last Pokemon, Manectric, wasn't able to hit me, so screech and scratch, and boom, that's our 3rd gym badge acquired. We then go to Meteor Falls to see some rival gang wars, just like in GTA. Then we go to Mount Chimney because Maxie is once again up to no good, trying to awaken the volcano. And Maxie actually gave me a lot of trouble. His Mightyena was not easy to take down with my team. I first tried with Ninjask and then went ahead and set up some sword stances and went for the leech life a couple of times. But this didn't really work out too well because it almost killed me twice, leaving me with only 6, and before switching into Camerupt, which I then take down with a dig. It then goes into Zubat, so I go into Dustox. Luckily I managed to outspeed and kill this thing with 2 more Psybeams, and then the last Pokemon, Mightyena, once again comes out. So I swap in Madame and go for a Charm, which was basically a wasted turn because he went for Bite and I forgot that Bite was special in this game. So I then set up an Encore as he went for Sand Attack so that he wouldn't attack me. I swapped in Ninjask again to try and go for some Leech Lives. I was only able to hit 1 before I had to switch back into Beautifly, who was able to clean up Mightyena with a gust or 2. After throwing Team Magma off the volcano, we arrive in Lava Ridge Town where we have to take on Flannery and her Fire-type Pokemon, which is, as you may expect, really hard with a Bug-type team. So what I did was I went in with Beautifly and went for the Stun Spore on the Numel. This would make it have a chance of getting paralyzed, of course. And I also knew that Beautifly really wasn't going to be useful in the rest of the game, so he got killed by an overheat, but this did lower the Numel special attack by 2 stages, which is what I wanted. I then went for a dig on the Numel. I knew that it wouldn't take it out, and the Numel then went for 2 takedowns in a row, missing both of them, one because I was underground and the other one because he's stupid. And then he had to use a potion, so I was able to set up 2 Swords Dances because the Numel then went for Magnitude, which doesn't even hit my Ninjask. I then set up another Swords Dance, it hit me with an overheat, I survived, and I proceeded to one-shot her entire team with Dig. After getting the Go Goggles from May, which we will need later on, I went to my old pal, old chap, Norman. Here I went in with Shedinja because the only thing that the Spinda could do was confuse me. The other Pokemon on this team that could hit me would be Slacking with Feint Attack. So I knew that he was either going to confuse me or switch into Slacking. He switched into Slacking, I went for the Confuse Ray and then swapped in Ninjask. I then went for a Swords Dance and started digging away because once I use Dig, this Slacking is never going to be able to hit me. Eventually he even uses a potion so I can set up a Swords Dance once again and then keep digging away at the Slacking until it faints. After taking it down, I sweep the rest of his team. Spinda, Vigoroth, and Linoon all went down to a single slash. Then we get access to surf, so we go to the Weather Institute, pick up the cast form, which nobody ever uses, cross the bridge, and have another rival battle with May. She leads with a Slugma, and I totally forgot that this battle was here, so I lead with Volbeat. But I quickly swap in Ninjask and dig my way out of it. It then swaps in Lombre, so I go back into Volbeat, take it down with Signal Beam, and the last Pokemon Grovyle also gets one-shotted. I then backtrack a little bit to Marvel City to get the Thunderbolt TM, which I can learn to Volbeat. And since it gets Tail Glow, I can probably use this pretty effectively. Only to realize that I probably will never use it in the future of this video. We then do some Kecleon spotting with Steven, and eventually reach the Safari Zone, where we capture a Heracross and a Pinsir, which are both pretty rare to get, and this took me quite a while, but now we have two powerhouses in Coco and Beetle. I then did something that I totally forgot about. I knew that I could get the Bug Rock type Anorith down at the Mirage Tower in the desert, so that's exactly what I did. After naming it Sonic, I went to the next gym led by Winona, which is once again a gym that I'm very weak against. But does that matter though? No, because I set up 3 bulk ups with Pinsir on the first Pokemon Swablu and take it down with Strength. I then set up another 3 bulk ups on the next Pokemon Tropius and then proceed to sweep her entire team. I take down Tropius, Pelipper, and Altaria with Strengths, and the final Pokemon Skarmory went down to Brick Break. Before we advance to all of the plot stuff with Team Aqua and Team Magma, we have to take on May again. This time it was Sonic's time to shine, single-handedly taking down Tropius, Slugma, and Pelipper with Rock Tombs, and then she went into Grovyle, so I swapped in Volbeat, Signal Beamed it twice, and got myself another win. We then pick up the Magma emblem at the top of Mount Pyre, travel to a volcano, which still doesn't really make sense to me. This place should be way too hot for me and Maxie to just be standing here. But hey, maybe this is just a bath filled with Kool-Aid. Anyway, I decided to just go in with Pinsir and then set up some bulk ups, but the Mightyena swaggered me. I hit myself in my confusion and it roared me out into Anorith. I then swapped in Pinsir again, went for more bulk ups, took down the Mightyena and the camera with Brick Break and Strength, while I only had 38 HP remaining, but with the defense buffs of Bulk Up, I knew that I could survive a wing attack from Crobat, so it hit me, got one of the highest rolls possible, left me with only 4 HP, and then I took it down with Strength. We then go to our usual stealing of the submarine, taking down the entire Team Aqua hideout base thing, travel to Moss Deep City, and while I was in the gym, my Anorith evolved into an Armaldo. After grinding the entire team up to level 42, I decided to take on Tate and Liza. I decided to go into the battle with Armaldo and Pinsir against their Claydol and Xatu. I set up a bulk up with my Pinsir, took down the Xatu with an Ancient Power, and got hit with an Earthquake from the Claydol. The Solrock set up a Sunny Day. I went for an Ancient Power on it and a Revenge with Pinsir because I knew that I was going to get hit with Earthquake, but the Solrock somehow managed to survive, so I had to switch out Armaldo next turn, otherwise he was probably going down. So I went into Ivy, then took down the Solrock with Brick Break from Pinsir. Lunatone came out and I took that thing down with Single Beam and Brick Break, and Claydol then went down by a Strength and a Signal Beam. And even though we just had a double battle for our last gym badge, we are now going to have to do another double battle, but this time with Steven. In this battle, I decided to take Armaldo, Volbeat, and Pinsir with me. We face off against their Camerupt and Mightyena, and on the second turn we can take down Camerupt with Water Gun and Psychic. We do have to watch out because the Mightyena managed to intimidate us, which lowers our attack, obviously. I then decided to take out the Golbat with Ancient Power, and I also managed to get my boost. They then brought in another Mightyena, and because we got hit with another Intimidate, I decided to switch in Volbeat. Our Volbeat managed to one-shot one of the Mightyenas, and Metang was able to hit a Metal Claw on one of them. The turn after, Metang takes down Mightyena, and he brings in Camerupt, so I swap in Armaldo. And we then proceed to double up on the Camerupt to take it down with Ancient Power. And the last Pokemon is a Crobat who also gets destroyed by Ancient Power. After all of this, we get the HM for Dive, which makes sure that we can go into some watery caves under the ocean where we find a big aquarium fish and another Mafia boss which we have to beat up. He also starts off with a Mightyena. I go for a Brick Break, it doesn't quite take him down, but I know that he's going to use a Super Potion next, so I set up a Bulk Up and then take it down. He then goes into Crobat, which I'm able to take down with a couple of Strengths, and because its Air Cutter barely does any damage because of my Bulk Up. Sharpedo was unable to hit me with the slash, luckily not getting a critical hit, and then I can take him down with Brick Break. Now we see that the world is going to end because Big Fish and wannabe Godzilla have fight, so we have to get Big Schnick to shout at them and stop it. We then go to the two guys who started all of this, and they just say, "We're sorry," and then they laugh it off and they run away. They don't even get put into jail. Anyway, this does mean that we now have the opportunity to take on the final gym leader, Hoenn. There's only one Pokemon on this team that can hit my Shedinja, and that is Love Disc with Lovely Kiss. So I just started off with my Ninjask, went for the Sword Stance, and then Baton passed away into Shedinja. And I got a little bit lucky because the Love Disc missed a Sweet Kiss. Not that it would have mattered much though, because now my Shedinja can Shadow Ball the Love Disc and kill it. The same goes for Crawdon, 2 Shadow Balls and it's down. I probably should have gone for Leech Life, but it doesn't matter, it couldn't hit me anyway. The next two Pokemon, Whiscash and Celio, both got one-shotted, and the final Pokemon, Kingdra, was actually able to survive a Shadow Ball, set up some double teams, go for a couple of rests as well, but in the end, it still couldn't hit me, so I just came out on top as the winner. That's 8 gym badges acquired. Now let's move on to the Victory Road, where we take on Wally as our final fight before the Elite Four and Champion. His leading Pokemon is an Altaria, so I decide to lead with Shedinja, and I then set up 2 Swords Dances and Baton pass away to Pinsir, who proceeds to take down Altaria with Strength, Delcatty with Brick Break, Magneton with Brick Break, Roselia with Strength, and the final Pokemon, Gardevoir, also goes down by Strength. So with Wally out of the way, we only have a couple of things to do, and that is build our team that's ready for the Elite Four and then beat the Elite Four with that team. In the end, I decided to go with Pinsir, Shedinja, Volbeat, Ninjask, Armaldo, and Heracross. And with these bad boys, I jumped into the fight with Sydney. And because this guy starts off with a Mightyena, I decide to lead with Pinsir and not Heracross, because Pinsir has Hyper Cutter, and that means that the Intimidate is not going to come through. This means that I can just one-shot Mightyena with Brick Break, Absol as well. Shiftry doesn't stand a chance, and the last two Pokemon, Cacturne and Crawdon, also got one-shot by Brick Break. So yeah, this was just a one-shot feast. The next opponent is going to be a little bit different though. It's Phoebe, so we can't really use Pinsir against her. So I'm going to go in with my tiny little bug, Ninjask. I just set up a single Sword Stance and then swap in Shedinja. And as you may know, with this Sword Stance, this Shadow Ball is going to obliterate her entire team, taking down Dusclops, Banette, Sableye, the other Banette, and finally the other Dusclops as well. Really no problems here. Even if Shedinja would have gone down here, I still could have swapped in Volbeat, which I also learned the Shadow Ball TM too. I wish the next Elite Four member would be any different, but Glacia is also going to get swept. I just set up a single Sword Stance and then Brick Break Celio, Brick Break Glalie, another Celio, another Glalie, and finally even the big fat Walrein goes down to a single one of my Brick Breaks. Now we come to the hardest member of the Elite Four, Drake. He starts off with a Shelgon, and I lead off with Shedinja. I set up 2 Sword Stances, I then get hit with a Rock Tomb, leaves me with only 18 HP, so I know I have to switch here. So I Baton pass away into Pinsir. And I immediately get hit with another Rock Tomb, which means that I'm at neutral speed again. He then goes into Flygon, which I can still take down with a Strength. Altaria then also goes down to a Strength, but then his big boy Salamence comes out. He of course survives a Strength and then hits back with a Flamethrower, leaving me with only a little bit of HP remaining. Luckily though, I just kept on strengthening away at it until it fainted because it just kept on using full restores after this. The last Pokemon is Kingdra, 1 more Strength, 1 more win. Let's move on over to the final battle of this game, Wallace. A lot of Wallace's Pokemon can't hit my Shedinja, including his first Pokemon, Wailord, so that's why I am going to be starting off with my Ghost Bug. I just start spamming Leech Life and Shadow Balls until it goes down because it keeps going for Water Spout. It doesn't even switch into another Pokemon. After taking it down though, it decides to go into Tentacruel, and I know this thing can only hit me with Toxic, so I swap in Heracross, which has Guts and Facade. After being poisoned, I take down the Tentacruel with Facade. It then goes into Whiscash, so I swap in Banshee and go for the Swords Dance, Baton Pass into Pinsir. And then go for a Bulk Up and a Strength, and even a +3 Strength doesn't take down this Whiscash, as I get hit with 2 Surfs. He then uses a Potion, so I know that I can set up again, so I go for a Swords Dance and then take down Whiscash. His last 3 Pokemon are Ludicolo, Milotic, and Gyarados, and all 3 of them could not stand up to my Pinsir because even the Gyarados' Intimidate doesn't work because of my Hyper Cutter, and I just strengthened all of them, winning myself the championship. With this, we have completed our hardcore bug catcher journey, and I definitely want to say that I had 3 big MVPs in this game. Those were definitely Pinsir, Ninjask, and Shedinja. All 3 of those are very useful bug types in this game at least. I'm pretty surprised that I didn't use Heracross more, but he wasn't really needed, because Pinsir could just do most of the carrying himself. Now, before we end off the video, let me know in the comments down below what you want me to do next. Do you want me to do another hardcore Nuzlocke of some kind, or do you want me to feature another ROM hack? And also, I want to thank my membership and Patreon supporters for the support on the channel. Really appreciate it. If you want to sign up yourself, you can do that by clicking the links in the description. And with that out of the way, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. I'm zwiggojr, and I'll see you guys next time.